Good Thursday morning and welcome to the Millionaire Mindset Book Club. It is our last day of the week, right? For the book club, Monday through Thursday, 5:45. We're on chapter 11, Limitation Disengage. We started this chapter yesterday, but there was just so much in it that we couldn't get through it in the 15 minutes. I'm going to do a quick recap, right? So this chapter is about what do you want? Right? What do you want? When I posted it yesterday, I said, well, think about the different ways that you can say that. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? And what do you want? Right? So say it all four different ways, right? What is it that you want? He has given us, Tony Robbins has given us the tools, but in order for those tools to be effective, you have to use them, right? You have to put them into action. There's a quote in here, an anonymous quote. It says anonymous. I'll just take credit for it. Winning starts with beginning, right? You have to know what you want, right? You can't hit the target. You cannot hit the target if you don't know what the target is. Just I don't know, from something that I listened to not too long ago. The guy said that his dad used to say, we don't know where we're going, but we're making good time. Right? Is that your life? Right? I don't know where I'm going, but by golly, I'm making good time. So we started talking about the 5 rules. We talked about the 5 rules in formulating your outcomes, right? State your outcome in positive terms, be as specific as possible, have an evidence procedure. How do you know that you're being successful? Number 4, be in control, right? Not dependent of your outcomes, not dependent upon other people. It's dependent upon you, right? And then number 5, verify that your outcome is ecologically sound and desirable, right? So as you create your list of things that you want, those are the things that you want to keep in mind as you create your list. Remember, this list is limitless, right? You are disengaging your limits. It's you want what you want. You do not have to justify what you want to anybody. You don't. I want it. That's all you need. That's all you need to know. Put it on your list. Then we were supposed to pick out 4 or 5. We were supposed to pick out 4 or 5 things that we could do this year. So we had an exercise, right? Start with make an inventory of your dreams, right? The things you want to have, to do, to be, to share. Don't try to define how you're going to do it. Just write it down, right? The second exercise was to go over the list and categorize it, right? I can do these in 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever time frame you're operating in, right? Then pick out the 4 most important goals for you this year. Remember, your year can start anytime, right? The fact that it's not January, so what? Start your year in October, right? You can have your own quote unquote fiscal year, right? If you want to, you start whenever you start, right? Jim Rohn said, if you have enough reasons, you can do anything, right? Reasons are the difference between being interested versus being committed to accomplishing something. Number 4, now you have those key rules, review them against your outcome formula, right? Remember the formula, specific, right? In positive, your outcome stated in positive terms, specific, have an evidence procedure, etc. Right? Number 5, make a list of resources that you have at your disposal. Number 6, focus in on the times when you used those resources most skillfully, right? Come up with 3 to 5 times in your life when you were totally successful, and think of the time when you did something particularly well, right? After you've done that, describe the kind of person that you would have to be in order to attain your goals. You know what? I'm going to have to be disciplined. I'm going to have X, Y, Z as far as knowledge goes, right? Whatever it is. Number 8, he says in a few paragraphs, write down what is it that's preventing you from having the things that you want right now. What's in your way? He says one way to overcome the limitations is to know exactly where your limitations are, right? Do you fail to plan, or do you plan but fail to act? Right? I think we ended up here yesterday, right? Do you plan but fail to act? Do you try to do too many things at one time, or do you get so fixated on one thing that you don't do anything else? Right? We can know what we want, why we want it, who can help us, a lot of other things, but the critical ingredient that in the end determines whether we're successful in achieving our outcomes or not is our actions, right? Our actions. So what are the necessary actions that you must take consistently to produce the result you desire, right? If you're in real estate, one of your necessary actions is prospect, right? That is a necessary action that you must do consistently in order to produce the results you desire, right? Okay, so we've picked out the things that we're going to, that we've prioritized or categorize the things that we want, right, into goals that we can, things we can do in the next 6 months, 12 months, whatever. Number 9, take the time now for each of those 4 key goals and create your first draft of a step-by-step plan on how to achieve it. Start with the first goal and ask yourself, what would I have to do to accomplish this? Or what is stopping me from having this now? And what can I do to change this? Make sure that your plans include something that you can do today. There's another book that I have. It's called Tools of the Titans. It's a book by Tim Ferriss, and it's a bunch of little stories from people that he's interviewed on his podcasts over the years. And there's one guy in there, I can't think of who it is, but talks about your future plan. When you talk about your future plans, hey, this is a 10-year goal for me. Why can't you do that now? What is it that's stopping you from doing that now? Right? So your plan needs to include something you can do today. If I could only do one thing, this comes from Tools of the Titans too, or from Tim Ferriss. If I could only do one thing in my business today, what would that be? Right? There's your focus. If I could only do one thing in my business to be successful today, what would it be? So this is the first part of the ultimate success formula, right? Tony Robbins' ultimate success formula. Know your outcome. You have defined your outcomes over short and long terms, defined which aspects of your personality help you and which ones get in your way. And now he said, we got to start developing this strategy on how to get there, right? So the surest way to achieve excellence is to do what? You go all the way back to chapter 1, modeling, right? Modeling somebody. So number 10 in his list is come up with some models. People from your life, famous people who have achieved great success, right? He says, write down the names of 3 to 5 people who have achieved what you want to achieve and specify in a few words the qualities and the behaviors that made them successful. And after you've done this, close your eyes and imagine for a moment that each of these people is going to give you some advice about how to accomplish your goals, right? Napoleon Hill said to create a mastermind group. Your mastermind group can be all up here. Doesn't have to be living people, can be, people from the past, successful people from the past. To create, and then you can imagine, okay, what would what would Jack Welch, right, chairman and CEO of GE, what would he say? How would he do this, right? So imagine that each one of those people is going to give you some advice on how to accomplish your goals, and write down one main idea that each person would give you if they were speaking to you personally, right? Maybe it's how to avoid a roadblock. Maybe it's how to break through a limitation, or how to just pay attention to what to look for, right? But imagine that they're talking to you, and he says, jot down under each of their names the first idea that comes to you about which each one of those people would say, right? We had a speaker at our realtor rally not too long ago, right, that said, because some people go, well, that's just stupid, right? That's just stupid. I don't want to. I don't want to role play. I don't want to imagine this in my head, right? Jared James said, pick your stupid, right? You can role play ahead of time, or you can practice in front of the client, right? So you're trying to change things to be more successful, right? You're trying to get that unlimited power. You're trying to get to that position of unlimited power. What do you got to lose? What do you got to lose? Think about this a couple minutes, right? If I think you can probably do that, right? Now you have a clear internal representation of where you want to go. You can save time and energy and avoid traveling down the wrong paths by following the paths that people have taken already. Successful people have taken already, right? So all this time, right, he says, you also have to think about the people in your life. Who are the people in your life that can serve as models for you? There are resources in friends and family and national leaders and celebrities. And if you don't know some good models, he said, make it a point going out and finding some. All this time we've been sending signals to your brain, forming this pattern of outcomes, right? And Tony Robbins says that goals are like magnets. They attract the things that will make them come true, right? Okay, number 11, you've got all these different types of goals. He said, what's even nicer is to be able to design what all of them together would mean for you. Now in your mind, create your ideal day. What people would be involved? What would you do? How would it start? Where would you go? Right? Who would you talk to? Right? How would you feel at the end of the day when you climbed into bed at the end of a perfect day? Right? He said, put it in writing, write it down, every detail. Right? Number 12, sometimes we forget that dreams begin at home. We forget the first step is providing ourselves an atmosphere that nurtures our creativity and helps us in everything we can be. So think about, again, designing your perfect environment, right? No limitations, whatever you want, in your perfect environment. Imagine your workspace, your office space, whatever, your living space, design that perfect environment. He has one other quote in here. He says, this is from Henry Ford. He says, thinking is the hardest work there is, which is probably the reason that so few people do it, right? So a couple last things. We're at the very end of the chapter. Doing the exercises in this chapter, Tony Robbins says, could be one of the most important steps that you can take towards producing these unmistakable signals. If you get one thing, if you only take one thing out of this chapter, it should be that results are inevitable. And it's so true. Results are inevitable one way or another. Positive results, negative results, they are inevitable, right? Do nothing, get negative results. Do positive things, get positive results, right? Again, two disciplines two things in life, two pains in life, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret, right? So since it's Thursday, we won't meet Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Take the time over the next 3 days to go through this chapter and go through these exercises, right? You've probably read books before that at the end of each chapter had exercises, and what did you do? You probably glossed over them. You didn't do the exercises. You didn't do the action. Remember, knowledge is nothing without action. So Tony Robbins, it's important to review your outcomes on a regular basis. Sometimes we change, but our outcomes remain the same because we never stopped to reevaluate, right? So he also recommends keeping a journal that will provide you with an ongoing record of your goals at any time in your life, right? Achieving your wildest dreams should begin today, right? Achieving your wildest dreams should begin today with the everyday steps that can put you on the right path. Remember, action is eloquence. Start today with eloquent action that'll lead to more eloquent outcomes, right? And the more precise we are when it talks about communication and communication with ourselves, the more precise we are, the more effective we are, right? So on Monday, we will start with Tony Robbins. Tony's given us some tools. He says, now I'm going to share with you some tools for achieving that sort of precision, right? But for this weekend, your homework is to go through chapter 11 and follow through with those exercises. Write down your unlimited or your limitations disengaged list of wants. Remember, you don't have to justify what you want to anybody. Put it on your list. If you want it, put it on your list, right? Be specific. Follow those exercises. Okay, 6:03. Right, we did it. I started a couple minutes late, so we finished a couple minutes late. This has been Millionaire Mindset Book Club. Thanks so much for joining me, if not in person, on the replay. Remember, share this with somebody else that you think could be, that could get some benefit out of it. 15 minutes a day, cranking out your day, to get it started. That's a great way to start one chapter of a book. And if you have other books that you want to recommend, by all means, send me a note, right? Let me know your thoughts. Put them in the, give us some comments. What do you think about this chapter? And we'll see you Monday morning right here, Millionaire Mindset Book Club. Have a great day. Get out there and make today your best day ever so far.